Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Cookie Cast. Today on Cookie Cast, it's Getting Over, the wrestling podcast. Episode 80. There's an 80 wrestling podcasts up to this point. Wow. We've got Survivor Series coming in hot. The premium live event is coming fast this weekend, and I'm thinking it's the last one of the year, so it's a big one, certainly a big one. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Obviously the big one. Share it amongst your friends. If you know somebody that likes the wrestling, send this podcast in their direction. They will love it. Right. Let's get started. Here we go. This is Cookie Cast. Getting Over.
Hello, welcome along. Welcome one and all to the home of all things WWE right here on Cookie Cast. That's right, it is time for Getting Over. And on this episode, I am joined by the creator himself, Mr. Andrew Cook.
Good evening.
Cookie Cast regular and podcaster extraordinaire, Mr. Paul Williams.
Good evening.
And, ladies and gentlemen, he did so well last time out. He's joined us for another episode. It's Max Hepworth. Welcome back, mate.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me. No, very welcome anytime, you know that. Matt still, he absolutely hasn't left us. I'm hanging on to that hope. He's obviously still out there on his quest to organise an NXT tryout for us all. And as you can see from my image on YouTube, that's probably going to take some time. So come back soon, Matt. We'll see you again down the line, I'm sure. Right. We'll start where we always start. It is predictions title time. And last time out, Andy took the title with a clean sweep of predictions, which was actually the second clean sweep in 2 episodes. If you remember, Andy seemed utterly convinced that he would be defending the title in a tiebreak on this episode. But will that vision come true? Right. Well, we had 5 points to play for. And in joint second place on 3 out of 5, we had me, clearly, because I'm usually about last overall anyway. And Mr. Williams. And no, that was it. It was just me and Paul. So Andy was correct. In joint first, we have Max and defending champion Andy. So it will shortly be tiebreak time. But first and foremost, what happened in the match is what let us down. What did we do well? Well, there was no clean sweep this time. Andy and Max both got 4 out of 5 because Roman Reigns not defeating Bronson Reed let us all down in one fell swoop. Obviously, Andy and Max got everything else right. The one that me and Paul got wrong collectively was John Cena defeating AJ Styles. We said that AJ might sneak one through, but he didn't. So that could have been interesting had we have all have ended up picking that, because we'd have all have picked the same all the way through the podcast if that had have happened, and therefore I'm not really sure what would have happened with the tiebreak momentarily. I did think that the event was all right, to be fair. I think it was much improved on WrestlePalooza. I think probably the Cena AJ Styles match was probably going to be the one that steals the show out of all of them. It felt very much like an ode to the greatest hits tour. And the highlight probably being, without doubt, actually for me, was the Bray Wyatt tribute, which got a lot of plaudits. For you guys not watching on YouTube, I'm getting some nods, I'm getting some agreement. Anybody want to pick up on anything from that particularly? Paul's going in.
Yeah, it was very good. I think the thing that I noticed the most was obviously that the thing that got people's tongues wagging was when Cena obviously went for the Walls of Jericho, and it was named as such rather than just saying, "Oh, well, there's a high-angled Boston crab if I've ever seen one." But obviously that got everyone starting with the that means he's coming back. That means he's going to be part of the retirement tour. He's definitely coming back. Obviously, not realizing that his contract with AEW runs till the start of next year, so he definitely won't be coming back for the retirement tour. But when we next convene, dare I say, for the next podcast, which I believe at this point would be the Royal Rumble, dare I suggest he might be popping up on people's lists as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble.
I think that's a fair shout at this point. Along with a couple of other former WWE now currently Tony Khan employed wrestlers, shall we say. Max, anything from you on Crown Jewel?
I thought John Cena's Sister Abigail was possibly the best Sister Abigail I've ever seen in my life. I thought it was far superior to any AA that he's ever hit in his career.
I mean, it's a bit late for him to change his finisher now, isn't he?
Yeah, a bit late. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I thought the John Cena AJ Styles match was very good. Just finishers galore, wasn't it? But I think it was a very enjoyable match, and just thought it's the best Cena's looked, I think, for quite some time. I think obviously AJ Styles could wrestle me and I'd look all right because of the skill that AJ Styles has. But yeah, just don't want Cena to go now. Really, I do. I'm enjoying what he's doing.
I mean, we're going to come on to some of the Cena stuff in a little bit, so we'll kind of park that for a sec. But the end of the year has come around very quickly, shall we say? It seems to have shot past. But yeah, going through the results just very quickly then. So yeah, Roman Reigns lost, which screwed us all. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky did defeat the Kabuki Warriors. Cena did defeat AJ Styles. Stephanie Vaquer defeated Tiffany Stratton to become the women's Crown Jewel champion. And the men's Crown Jewel champion was none other than Seth freaking Rollins after he defeated Cody Rhodes. So speaking of wins and losses, I suppose we better crown the champion for this episode, yeah? Andy, you look thrilled, mate. I'm excited for this. Because you all know you've like, Andy's been part of this the whole time. Max has listened. So you all know the sort of shit that I enjoy to throw in at this point.
You all know how many times I've lost to a tiebreaker is the word you're looking for. And I can chalk this one up as another loss to a tiebreaker.
You might need a pen. Or
Can I use my phone?
Yeah.
As long as you're not. We're not doing that. Sorry. Fastest finger first. Good.
As we know, Crown Jewel took place in Perth this year, which was the fourth premium live event in 2025 to take place outside of America. The Elimination Chamber was in Toronto, in Canada, in March. Night of Champions was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in June. Clash of Paris was in, Paris, in France in August, and now Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. So, if you started the trip in Toronto and ended up in Perth after attending all four events, obviously, how many air miles would you have racked up? The nearest guess wins. Absolute shot in the dark for me. I think Andy is also very much looking forward to the day where I drop him a text mid-month and go, Andy, could you sort the tiebreak question out for the next episode? Because he is going to absolutely have my life at that point.
Yeah, because at that point I'm going to be, oh man, I lost. Ah, retribution does come around.
Oh my god, them guys are back.
Yeah.
So, Andy is defending champion. Oh, my camera's doing something weird. Andy is defending champion. He can, therefore, defer if you want to make Max go first.
I have written, I have typed the number on a notepad. So,
Okay.
I've written a number as well, so there'll be no changing, and my pen is now at the other side of the table.
Okay. Andy, do you want to go then? So Andy has gone for 10,452. Okay. So, Max?
I went 14,312.
Okay. So, Toronto to Riyadh, 6,616. Riyadh to Paris, 2,893. Paris to Perth, 8,863, which means the total is 18,372. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, and new predictions champion by way of tiebreak victory, Mr. Max Hepworth. Well done, sir.
Right, I'm not just saying this to sort of like try and like jump in on it, but I was thinking 18,000 would have been my guess.
I mean, me too, after I saw the answer, Paul. So.
Personally, I need somebody to tot up how many losses I've had to tiebreaker. At this point in time, we need a big board behind. You know, like days since last accident. Days since I won a tiebreaker, and as of today, 0. And I'm just going to have it engraved as 0. Never change. Well done, Max. Your ability to predict numbers is a lot better.
It's a complete guess.
It's either the complete guess or a pure skill between mathematics and geography. I'll let you decide, ladies and gentlemen, which one we're going to go with on that one by his face. Okay, so yeah, new champ. Well done, Max. It's how many times is that? I think it's second time on the podcast, but probably about 5th or 6th set of predictions. So it's not taking you as long as it's taking me. So.
Yeah, but whenever I do, whenever I've written in my predictions, I think I've got about 1 right in the past 6 episodes combined. So I'll take. I think I'm overdue something.
It took the appearance on the pod to get you the good juju you needed for the predictions to come right. You see.
Yeah. Should have done that years ago.
Okay, we'll move into the news section. So we've got 3 big bits to talk about. Kind of storyline, kind of also real life stuff as well. So, first thing is Seth Rollins is now injured. Unfortunately, he didn't get to parade very much with that Crown Jewel Championship because he was actually injured during the course of. It's reported that he suffered a torn rotator cuff, and it reportedly occurred during a rough landing following the coast-to-coast spot in that match with Cody. Recovery time is slated to be 6 months, so it could be a bit of a race against time to be fit for WrestleMania in Las Vegas next year. However, within the past week, I'm guessing Mr. Cook may have seen this because himself, Mr. Rollins, has been on a podcast himself with his wife, with one of Andy's favourite comedians, Bert Kreischer. And he said that he's now a little bit ahead of schedule. Have you had a chance to have a look at that one yet, Andy?
So I have downloaded said podcast, added it to the listening list. Haven't digested yet, but I have seen a variety of clips because obviously podcasts like that, they advertise their episodes through a series of clips and stuff.
I was going to make my standard joke of I'll look forward to seeing his band and buying his new book at the same time, but get old now, innit?
But, well, go on, Paul, were you going to say something?
Well, I was going to say it's his coffee shop, isn't it? Isn't that what Rollins does?
Yeah, he has his own coffee shop. Obviously, he'll appreciate the time with his wife and kid, although Mrs. may be on the road still for foreseeable.
Yes, true.
But yeah, he was written off TV the night after. He was destroyed on Raw by both Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, effectively ejecting Seth from the group he formed as well, the Vision, and causing him to be stripped of the World Heavyweight Championship as he's not medically clear to defend the title. To quite literally add insult to Seth's injury, the next champion crowned was none other than the man he spent the best part of the year feuding with, and that is CM Punk. Punk won a number one contenders triple threat match in order to face Jey Uso, who won a battle royal for the same privilege. Punk was crowned a 7-time world champion when he defeated Jey at Saturday night's main event on November the 1st. So, bit of a change at the top. I would suggest that it's probably annoyed a few in creative on the basis of the Vision was pretty much the basis for Raw on a weekly basis at this point in the year. Now they have to move forward without the kind of focal point. Yeah, so the next thing, we've had another title change as well, in the sense of the Intercontinental Championship has changed hands. And on Raw in his home state, John Cena managed to capture the Intercontinental title from Dominic Mysterio to become a Grand Slam champion. Do we know how many Grand Slam champions there have been? Anyone want to hazard a guess?
23.
Anyone else?
28.
Yeah, you both gone around the same ballpark. It's actually 25. The Miz is the only 2-time Grand Slam champion.
Which, when you think about it, is insane.
Do you know what though? I kind of want him to hang on to that because he's not going to have anything else to hang on to come the end of his career. So it's kind of a nice little niche kind of sticking point for him. I quite like that. You can't deny that the guy's worked for it. Anyway,
oh God, yeah, that's fair.
I do like the Miz. Could wax lyrical a little bit about the guy, but I'll leave it be because John Cena's time is now, as it were. I guess the main kind of point from this that brought for me was, should Cena really have had the Intercontinental title earlier in his career, and therefore did that make this one seem a little bit cheap?
I think the problem is that when you look at it, The Undertaker never had the Intercontinental Championship, and I think that they kind of made a bit of a run for their own back because it was almost like, well, he can't really go for it now because he's above it, if that makes sense.
But loads of people through, like Triple H and a few others, like, were in the main event scene while still holding on to, like, the Intercontinental title. Like, if anything, it possibly could have boosted its sort of prestige a little at times when it needed it.
Oh yeah.
Looking at you, Ziggler. But like Triple H had it when Stone Cold was champion, didn't it? Main champion, and then they ended up being tag team champions together for a little while. So that kind of a shtick. But I can't get away from the fact that this Grand Slam champion business and giving him the title now, it almost, I don't feel like that this was ever in the plan. And it feels more like a bit of an apology for absolutely screwing up his heel turn.
I don't know. I think it was probably I agree with you. I don't think it was ever in the books until someone had been going through all the records and then probably noticed he's never had the Intercontinental Championship here. And I reckon they just sort of thought, well, it's not part of the plans, but it would kind of tick a box and give us, probably a bit of a ratings boost when it comes to like Netflix ratings and stuff like that. So I imagine that's probably the reason why they've done it.
But
I think there's probably some sort of box ticking exercise as far as this is concerned, and I do believe that they've probably done exactly that. They've just gone through like the entire list. Like, did he ever do this? They probably got the freaking NFL statisticians to come in and like, did this ever happen on this day, this time, with this weather? And like, yes, right, tick. Okay, what about this? And they've just gone through the entire list. And now they're getting down to those bottom few boxes, and they're like, shit, he never had this, and this never happened, and we've got to get this in somehow. And it's just like those last few things. And at some point, somebody's gone, never had the Intercontinental. No. Well, is there time? That kind of, let's just get it across the line before the end.
I just feel like they've gone about it, for want of a better expression, ass about face, in the sense of they pulled that whole thing when Cena hadn't won a match in however long, and granted he hadn't had like a match for, consistently for a couple of years or whatever at that point. They put Solo Sikoa over him at one of the Saudi events in a bit of a build. They really pushed that he'd not won. So why not start him off with sort of the first part of the year going for the Intercontinental title now, build into the crescendo of the main 17th? Because it feels a bit like they've sort of spaffed the ending in March and then thought, oh crap, what are we going to do now? And it don't feel like they've done it the right way around to me. I know hindsight's a wonderful thing and all that, but
I think it was always going to be that way, because I know, like, there'll be a reason as to why he wanted to do it for like the year. But if you think about it, surely it would have made a lot more sense for him to have come out at Mania last year. Hang on. Rather than come out when he did, it would have made more sense for him to have come out at Mania this year and said, this is going to be my last year, culminating in next year's WrestleMania. It'll be my last match. And that would have made more sense in that. From that point, surely you could have had the option to have said, well, surely he'll win the 17th in his last match, but then he'll just retire, and then they can have like a tournament or something to crown the new champ.
But they'd have even had options then, wouldn't they? Because they could have had him win the title at the Rumble and have him lose it at WrestleMania. But I agree with your point. Like, having your last match on like a random B show, effectively, in December.
It's strange, isn't it? It's odd.
They'd have been better off, just purely for ratings, tagging it onto the NXT pay-per-view, like a little bit later in December. Because he's also had a hand in allegedly picking the competitors for the Iron Survivor matches that are going to be at Deadline. So they could have quite easily have tagged that all in, I think. Anything on Mr. Cena winning the Intercontinental Championship, Max?
I'd rather have done it earlier in the year and gone back to his US champ days where it was the Cena Open Challenge. I think at that point we could have had a lot of... I think the surprises would have been a lot better, because you'd have had, the likes of Zack Ryder coming back and fighting Cena, Dolph Ziggler come back fighting Cena, rather than just, these names were put into the hat really for this John Cena tournament, but we're not actually going to see Cena face these guys. It's just like we saw, like, people wanted Matt Cardona back for a long time. He comes back, gets beat by LA Knight, and I know they're on about possibly having him team up with LA Knight for a Knight Rider tag team, but if it doesn't happen, then it's just kind of been a bit of a wasted pop. Whereas you could have had, as I say, the IC title Open Challenge, have all these people come out, have Cena build a bit of momentum towards the end of the year, have him get screwed over in a match by a Dom Mysterio, someone to then take the IC title. But Cena's built up that much momentum from being IC champ, getting screwed over, but thinking, well, rather than going for that, I'm going to go for 17 now. And as you say, hindsight's a wonderful thing, it would all be, it's 2020, isn't it, hindsight? But yeah, I just feel as though they kind of fumbled it a little bit, and it's a shame.
Well, as Max touched on there, the Last Time Is Now tournament has been announced, and it will be basically the winner of the tournament is going to face John Cena in his last match. Saturday night's main event on December the 13th. I would love to know why they've picked that. It's really, it feels weird. But regardless, his last match will take place, but who is going to be his last opponent? So, it's been a series of 1v1 matches so far, which began on the 10th of November. It's comprised of competitors from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and as Max said, even some people that don't work for WWE anymore. We've seen the return of Zack Ryder. Definitely should have been as Matt Cardona, because when he was in NXT briefly from the TNA crossover, he was Matt Cardona then, so that was a bit weird. And Dolph Ziggler, although both were knocked out in the first round after receiving decent pops from the crowd. Rusev and Sheamus were the first to advance, though the latter has had to pull out now with a shoulder injury. How legit that is, not so sure. Jey Uso, LA Knight, Gunther and Solo Sikoa also progressed past the first round. And as the field whittles, the last man standing is going to get that honour of facing Cena in his final match. So, out of the ones that are left, I'm going to throw out some spoilers now. I don't normally do this. But SmackDown for this coming week is taped in advance. If you're listening to this on Thursday, before, if you're listening to this on Thanksgiving Thursday, there's going to be some spoilers for SmackDown the night after. Jey Uso defeated Rusev in the quarterfinals, and The Miz and R-Truth both wanted to take Sheamus' spot in the Last Time Is Now tournament. The Miz put a fast one on R-Truth and actually got the spot. So The Miz has had 2 bites of the cherry, but then he was defeated by LA Knight. So the bracket remains. So it'll be LA Knight and Jey Uso in the semi-final at one side, and it'll be Solo Sikoa and Gunther in the other side. So of those 4, any preference?
Somebody else.
Fair enough.
These do not feel like John Cena's final match opponents. Plain and simple. Someone else. Someone that feels worthy of that opportunity. Right, hear me out. Triple H needs to come out of retirement for what?
I've maintained through the whole thing, for me, if they were going to go with an older guy like a blast from the past, whatever strings they had to pull, it needed to be Edge, because for me, Edge will always be John Cena's biggest career rival. If it wasn't Edge, it should have been Randy Orton, but that ship kind of sailed earlier in the year. If they're doing it to put over a young guy, of the 4 that are left, to me, the one that needs it the most is LA Knight. And he's not the youngest of the group, but this could be that golden ticket to resurrecting whatever kind of push that he might have left in him. Gunther doesn't need it, I don't think. He's been champion. He can do it again without the assistance. Jey Uso's rocket ship exploded shortly after WrestleMania. So I think that one's done with. And Solo Sikoa's got more time, in theory, than the rest. So I think LA Knight would be my preference of the 4 remaining. Max? Is he there? Can you hear me, Max?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said next. My preference would be LA Knight, because I feel as though they are wasting him at present. But I think it will be Gunther. I think the fact that they've gone back to his old theme where he was this dominant wrecking ball of a wrestler, it just makes me think. And to bring him back for this tournament, I don't think he needs it. I think they're going to give it to Gunther as a bit of a sin of said torch. But I agree with Andy that I don't think any of them really feel particularly worthy. Unless after the match, maybe John Cena beats Gunther and then says Joe Hendry and he appears, and then that's a passing of the torch to Joe Hendry as he's signed with WWE. But I'd rather that happened than any of the well, apart from LA Knight. To be fair,
Joe Hendry being in the tournament should have been a thing. But thankfully, at least for the Scotsman, he's been featured in NXT fairly heavily since he signed his official WWE contract. Anyway, that's it. That is kind of the news section. By the time that we come to you next time, Cena's last match will have happened, so obviously we can work through the ins and outs of what did happen compared to what should have happened. And I guess the thank you Cena chants will be ringing out around the arena. I'm not going to put you through that now, particularly if you're listening to us on headphones. It's not fair. It's not fair. Right, we are going to just step away for a short second, and we'll be right back to you with some Survivor Series predictions. So don't go anywhere. See, we're back. We are back. Straight back to you, and it is time for some Survivor Series 2025 predictions. This year's Thanksgiving weekend tradition will be coming to us all live from Petco Park in San Diego, California on Saturday, November 29th. This is going to be the 39th annual installment, but the first to be held in a stadium, and therefore the first to be held outside. Seems strange to think it's like the end of November and they're going to be wrestling outdoors.
Yeah, but it doesn't count in like the west coast of America, does it? So they seem to have this deal that, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger must have cut with God or something, where the sun is just constantly shining there, and it's just like a balmy, we would say 20 degrees, but obviously because they use a completely different heat system, a balmy 87 or whatever it is in Fahrenheit or something.
I don't know, because remember that when they've done WrestleMania outdoors early or earlier on the schedule, I remember a few of them complaining that it was a little bit on the chilly side, and one of them I seem to remember complaining was Drew McIntyre. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, a Scotsman.
But he's not. He's a Scotsman in accent alone. Now, if you look at him, he's tanning regularly. He's,
I'm trying to say he's gone soft.
In fact, I would go.
And his beard.
Not to his face.
Can somebody tag Drew in on the comments for the podcast and just say Paul said?
Please don't. No.
Have you heard what this podcast has been saying about you?
Who lives at so-and-so street?
It's alright, you don't need to worry, you won't be able to get in the country, will he?
Well, he might get in, he might not get out again.
He won't be able to get back, so that's why he won't come. He's like, I don't want to go because I can't get back.
He could cut a lovely promo on the streets of the shambles, I'm sure. Anyway, yeah. So
he's too big. He won't fit. He's too massive. So
you're slagging him off again, Paul. You're making it worse now.
No, I'm saying he's such a ripped, chiseled man that his bulging bicepness won't be able to fit down that narrow street.
And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Paul digging more than the Undertaker ever has. So at the time of recording, we only have 4 matches listed, so not all that many points to play for. Except we're going to do things a little bit differently for the War Games matches. We will also predict who will take the decisive fall to effectively lose the match for their team. But as always, the match card is taken from WWE.com and is correct at the time of recording, but is always subject to change. So without further ado, here we go. The first match I have on the card is the Women's World Title match. So that's Stephanie Vaquer defending as champion against WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella. recently, these two had been teaming up to deal with the combined threat of Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day. After a few weeks, though, Nikki Bella did what she always does, gets a bit bored, and turned on her partner with a bit of a post-match beatdown handed out to the champion. Stephanie Vaquer has been intent on gaining a measure of revenge, but has put her title on the line in a bid to get that revenge. Does it open the door for the WWE Hall of Famer to take home her first title in a little over 10 years? Or is La Premiere hanging on to that gold for dear life? Paul, I feel like from the amount that you're shaking your head there, we should probably go to you first for this one.
Why is this a thing?
What? Just the predictions of this?
Why are we having... We've done this. We've done the Nikki Bella stuff. She retired. She retired so we didn't have to watch her wrestle anymore. Why has she come back? Why?
Well, the Dancing with the Stars money ran out, clearly. And the vineyard is shut for the colder part of the year as well. So
yeah, I'm not particularly enamoured with the storyline here. I was never a massive Nikki Bella fan in the first place. I just think there's much better competitors that you could have Stephanie Vaquer go up against, and yeah, I mean it's a Stephanie Vaquer retention for me, and hopefully it's a fairly quick match so we can move on to what she actually needs to be getting into.
Would it be safe to say that you would have rather have them called up anybody from NXT to have this match rather than Nikki Bella?
Well, just put her in there with Roxanne Perez, like let them have 25 minutes, just let them show what they can do. Because of that, I'd much prefer to see that than it build two new stars rather than re-putting over someone who's already had their time and is gone and has
isn't allowed to do their original finishing move because it's now deemed too dangerous to herself.
She will re-break her own neck if she does it properly.
So just to confirm, just in case we weren't sure, I've put you down for Stephanie.
Nikki Bella to win, yeah.
Okay, now I've got you down for Stephanie, Paul. You don't need to worry. Okay, Max, do you want to go next?
Yes, as the founder of the UK's of the Nikki Bella fan club, I'm going to go with Stephanie Vaquer.
Okay. And why? Same reasons as Paul, or?
Yes, I was 100% on Stephanie Vaquer until I read something the other day, which stated that this is Nikki Bella's final run in the WWE. And after all of about 3 seconds, I went back to my 100% on Stephanie Vaquer. I think they've done far too much with Stephanie Vaquer. She's had an excellent, very dominant year. To have that whole, to beat Tiffany Stratton and win the Crown Jewel title, it wouldn't really make any sense for her first real program to be a loss to Nikki Bella.
Okay, Stephanie for you. Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything that's been said so far. Yeah, I was very much with Paul on the why are we doing this? But yeah, a retention. These are the matches that I look at and I'm like Paul was saying, why? This was the best we could come. I know I've become a broken record with certain things, but this was the best we could do. This was the best we could come up with. This was the best match that we could bring to our TV screens. So, yeah, just retention.
I genuinely thought they were building up Raquel Rodriguez to be like the big baddie. And almost, agree with Paul, give her Roxanne almost as a bit of a feeder into like the Judgment Day stuff, and then have Raquel be the next match down the line for like a bit more. So there's been a bigger build to it all round. However, full disclosure, before I'd even asked the question, I did write Stephanie in all 4 of the boxes for us today. So I was that confident it was already in the book before I asked you the question. But, I have to ask. Keep it right and fair for the podcast.
What's that there? Is that some egg that I've just picked off all of our faces when Nikki Bella gets that win?
Well, if it is her last run, you never know. I feel a bit like Bo Selector Louis Theroux, though. Whenever anybody says it's their last run, you're like, is it really though? It's not. It's not gonna. She'll come back when she needs to, I'm sure. Anyway, next match on the card I have is the aforementioned Intercontinental Champion John Cena defending against former champion Dominic Mysterio. So this will officially be John Cena's last PLE as an active competitor, and he's going to aim to retain his newly won Intercontinental title against the former champ. As we mentioned earlier, during Cena's final Raw in Boston, an impromptu title match happened after Dom decided to run his mouth. Cena took that title to complete his Grand Slam, but will soon be back in action defending that title when he walks into the hometown of the challenger this weekend. Defending the title in a baseball stadium? Grand Slam champion. Any link there? We'll see. Is Cena's Intercontinental Championship title run going to be one of his shortest? Or will he take it to his final match to defend against the winner of the Last Time Is Now tournament? Where do we go with this one? Paul went first last time, so we'll move down the line one. We'll go to Max first this time.
I think Big Match John will retain. I think Dominic Mysterio, I think Dirty Dom's going to do quite a bit with the AAA Lucha thing. So I think it kind of makes sense in not being IC champ for that. It wouldn't surprise me as well if the Judgment Day get involved, and that's where things go wrong for Dominic Mysterio, and it kind of leads into the whole dysfunction between them. But yeah, I think Cena retains and then loses it on his last match.
Okay. Andy?
See, I thought I was going to be really clever with my prediction on this one, but apparently not. I fully expect him to lose his last match. It's this whole, he has to put somebody over on the way out the door, etc., etc., etc. So it doesn't make sense to lose 2 matches back to back, and presumably having something of worth going into that last match, like a belt or a title. Sorry. Then makes it just that little bit more. I think Dom putting a loss on Dom at this point in time does absolutely nothing, so there's no problems there. I think it just helps move things along to the end. So yeah, retention.
Okay. I agree with what Max was saying about there's going to be some Judgment Day interference, but I think Dominic will take it back. I think that he will take the title into the AAA stuff. I think the whole Cena winning it in the first place is just such a box ticking exercise. It's been done, and just get it off him now, because whoever wins the last match, we're all presuming that Cena's going to lose that last match, I think, at this point in time. Remains to be seen, I guess. But I think the prestige of retiring John Cena is probably greater than the prestige of the current iteration of the Intercontinental Championship at this point in time. So I don't think it really matters if they have a belt for that last match or not. Whereas I think Dom was doing some cracking stuff with the chicken shit heel kind of style with the Intercontinental title. So I can see them just giving him it straight back, if I'm honest. So Dominic Mysterio for me. Paul?
Well, I think you were probably getting quite comfortable out there on Points Island, were you? Unfortunately, you are going to have to scooch over a little bit, as you're no longer on that island alone. As I too think this one's going straight back to old DDM himself. I was similar to Andy. I thought that we were probably like looking that it's unlikely that Cena would lose his last 2 matches on the spin, but I don't think he's. I think he's probably got to the point now where he's probably not that arsed about the outcome of any of his matches from a wins and losses perspective. He's just at this point he's just like thinking that he just wants to get through them and make sure that he doesn't, embarrass himself. Not that he would, but he just wants to sort of put on the best show possible. I think that, like everyone said at this point, I think there will be interference. Finterference, as I believe the official term is given now. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's set up to make it look like it's going to be what costs Dom the match, so that you can then like spin that into Finn versus Dom, probably at Mania, maybe for the IC belt. I don't know, but I think at this point it doesn't make any sense to have the winner of the tournament get both Cena's last match and a title, because surely the thing that propels him into the next sort of program that they go to is, well, I'm technically the guy that retired Cena.
It's a bit like when Baron Corbin retired Kurt Angle, innit? Because that worked so well.
Yeah, but you're forgetting the fact that Baron Corbin is the greatest superstar that's ever laced up a pair of boots, and you just don't like him because you're a silly man.
Well, he's doing pretty well in MLW, I think, these days, isn't he? So.
I think personally, I think the deadbeat dad might come into it and help Cena win the Judgment Day there, leading to Cena winning the match. And then Dom Mysterio, once Cena has his last match and loses, but then maybe turn around and say, well, I haven't had a clean rematch without the deadbeat being there. And then pushing Dom Mysterio into trying to regain that IC title against the winner of the tournament.
Yeah.
Potentially. But I'm probably connecting dots there. But that was my thought as well.
It's what we do. It's what we do on the podcast. That's how we do things, Max. That's what we do.
That's what we're here for. Okay, so first 2 in the book, which just leaves us with both War Games matches. The first of which is going to be the women's War Games match. So strap in. This is a long list of competitors. It is Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and AJ Lee versus Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Becky Lynch. So the setup to this has had its complications. It really started back when Asuka and Kairi turned on Io because of her friendship with Rhea. Nia Jax and Lash Legend cost Flair and Bliss the tag titles against Asuka and Kairi. Though when the War Games match was suggested, Flair backed out initially, saying she couldn't trust Rhea Ripley. When Bliss was being beaten down the following week, however, Flair came back to save her partner and rejoined the team. It couldn't just be 4v4 though, could it? When AJ Lee cost Becky Lynch her Intercontinental title, both were added to the bout to settle their differences inside the 2-ring caged structure. But which team is going to walk out with their bodies battered but egos intact? Right, so moving down the line, it would be Andy for this one. Don't forget as well, I need your winner, so your winning team, and then the member of the losing team who you think is going to lose the match.
I have the faces winning this.
Okay. They will be in my book as Team Rhea. Not like that.
Yeah. This is one of those where I would have probably done a coin toss, but you can't have a multiple-sided coin for who's going to take the pin. So I've decided to utilize the last name on the list I've got written down. So Lash Legend.
Okay.
To take the loss. I was going to go into this whole thing about like a structuring totem pole of who's going to best take it, and this to me has got like future matches written all over it. I think it's just designed to set up this match and this match and this match and a lot of future premium live events. So I think this is just built. It's just setting the stage for all the future rivalries coming up, and that in turn was going to lead to me going into who's further down the pecking order, who can take the pin and it not affect other things. But in the end, I was like, that name right there, that's the one for me.
Okay. Well, she may be a new name if you're not familiar with NXT as well, because she's only recently been called up. Enjoyed Lash's work in NXT. Made the best of what she was given, certainly as part of Metaphor, and then seemed to sort of very quickly flurry into the bougie baddie character that she's sort of become. But she should fit in on the main roster. She can definitely go. I am mega surprised they've stuck her straight into a War Games match, really, as her first kind of thing. I agree with Andy in the respect of I think Team Rhea will win. But it might be more of a surprise that I've got Becky Lynch down to take the losing fall.
Wow.
So the reason for this is because of all the stuff that's been happening over the last few weeks. Unless you've been living under a rock, or maybe don't follow her on social media, or any wrestling related thing on social media, because they've all been reporting on it. Every time something bad happens, she's had an absolute meltdown, culminating with the loss of the Intercontinental Championship to Maxine Dupree last week. I just feel that she'll lose the match for her team, and somehow it'll be Adam Pearce's fault, and she'll lean into that sort of even further. It'll be something to do with AJ Lee. Not necessarily saying that she will be the one that gets the pin or submission, whatever, but the AJ will definitely be involved in the ending if that is the case. Because it's, as Andy said, it's setting up those future matches. AJ and Becky has already been teased. Therefore, this just feels like the next step for me. I think we're going to get Charlotte and Bliss splitting up. And then that leaves Rhea and Io to go for the tag titles against the other two, as it were. So that's for me anyway. But we've both gone Team Rhea, but extra points predictions varying so far. Okay, so Paul?
You can just mark the old dittos down, because you've basically picked my exact sort of setup for this match yourself there. So
okay,
yeah,
so Becky as well, yeah.
Becky to take the fall. I think it's going to be AJ that beats her, and I think, like you say, it sets up the one-on-one match that they've been teasing for ages.
Okay, easy done. And Max?
Yeah. Being you and Mr. Williams.
Exactly the same, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so my plan of
I
getting
thought I was going for points
is... This is where we find that actually double bluffed ourselves into going sort of to Route 1, and it'll be something completely different. And in actual fact, it'll be the newbie that takes the pinfall, and Andy will be ready to set up for a tiebreak 2 episodes down the line. Right. Well, that one was easy done, and we've only got one more to go, which is the men's War Games match. So this time around it is CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Roman Reigns versus Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. So, when you've played like WWE 2K for too long and decided that you'll have a little go on exhibition mode and you just start like making shit up. Yeah, this is, mate, that's just it for me, but on TV. The Brons have been on an absolute tear since putting Seth Rollins on the shelf and found a surprise ally / snidey prick replacement in Logan Paul. Punk, Rhodes, and Jey Uso stepped up to take on the challenge, only for Heyman to add Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar to the ranks. Jimmy Uso arrived on the scene to have his brothers back before Roman Reigns returned to balance up the numbers in the War Games match. There is legitimately no solid reason for half of these guys to be in the same match altogether. Looking at you, Cody and Drew. You should be in your own match. But this just makes me think that this is going to be more about creating storylines off the back of it, as Andy said for the women's one. But having said all that, there's still got to be a winning team, and it is now our job to predict it. So I think have we gone all the way around? Has everybody had a go first?
You haven't.
I think so.
Have I not gone first?
No, maybe
Right.
not.
There's only 4 matches.
Okay. All right. Cheers, Carl Vorderman. So, okay, I'll go first then. It's almost like I've been hosting a podcast or something, Max. Jesus, give us a break. Right. So, for this one, I hadn't decided, and I was really hoping that I could.
There he is.
So, I am going to go for essentially the bad guys to win. I'm going to go for, in a shock to absolutely nobody, Jimmy Uso to take the fall. But yeah, that's choices purely come around for the fact that Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed still need to keep that whole shtick going. Brock Lesnar needs to reassert himself as an absolute beast after falling on his ass during his entrance on Raw this past week. And I would kind of prefer it though if the winner was Drew by pinning Cody. That would be that would be the ending I would pick, but I don't think they'll go with it. So I'm just going to say that Jimmy Uso is going to lose. So, and probably Brock will pin him, but Jimmy is obviously the answer for the points here. What can we do? We'll deem them Team Lesnar. That note. Who's next then? Does that mean it's Andy? Or Paul? Paul, go next.
I can go next if you want. So I agree with you in the team. So I think faces will win on the female side. Don't think they'll win on both sides. So your 50-50 booking hat comes out, and that's where you'd imagine that it's probably a heel win on this side. I also agree that I think the most logical person to take the pin is Jimmy, and that is exactly the reason why I don't think he'll be anywhere near the pinfall when it comes around to it. And I actually think that it's going to be CM Punk that takes the pin, and I don't think Andy's going to be very happy with the guy who pins him, as I think it's going to be Logan Paul ahead of the championship match that they'll probably end up having at the Royal Rumble, I dare say.
I'd take it because that means that Logan Paul won't be in the Royal Rumble necessarily. So,
hang on a second. Just because he's in a championship match doesn't mean that he can't pull double duty.
Cost them
That's that one done.
Cost them too much money.
CM Punk to take the pinfall and the Team Logan.
Okay.
To get the win.
You are in the book as such. I can't see him pulling double duty at the Rumble on the basis of that he wouldn't even let them use his image to go in any of the card sets that have been out in the last 6 to 8 months. So unless he's getting like double money, he will not be interested.
Won't let them use his image for cards, but will accept a wage from them. What a twat!
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like he's got a massive bill for fake Pokemon cards to pay off or something. Max, that means it'll be you
I'm
next.
going with the heel team,
Okay.
and I'm going with Jey Uso taking the pin, not Jimmy.
Okay. If this wants to actually let me type in here, that would be delightful. There we go. Any particular reason?
I just think I agree that Jimmy is too obvious. And I don't know if it's going to play into Crown Jewel when Roman was giving Jimmy a bit of a scold. Sorry, was giving Jey a bit of a scolding for getting involved and not really helping. I don't know if we're going to have Roman versus Jey again, unfortunately, at some point in the future. And I don't know if by Jey taking the pin, if Roman is, say, I have Roman in a dominant position in one ring and Jey getting pinned in another, then having Roman again scolding Jey and maybe seeing the Yeet Masters super kick to Roman at some stage, maybe at the end or something.
Okay.
Or maybe Jey takes a spear from Roman by accident, and that's when Jey gets pinned. I just think there's going to be something between Roman and Jey.
Ultimately, Jey paying the price for absolutely shit in the bed throughout 2025 from April onwards is where we're going with that one. Okay. No worries. That then leaves Andy with the final pick of this episode. So, away you go, sir.
Well, I'm just going to get comfy, sit back, kick my heels, and live here on Points Island, gentlemen. I will take. I like a bit of symmetry in my picks and stuff, but this time out, I'm going double faces, and in retaliation to Paul's horrible prediction, I will have Logan mother flipping Paul to take that pin, just so I can enjoy something for one.
Needs to be written off TV for a couple of weeks so he can pop and watch his brother's boxing match. Is that where we're?
Don't even get me started on that one. Can you imagine the justification that's coming in off the back of that when, it goes all the rounds and apparently there was no clear winner? But
it's already started. The justification has already started, and I almost word for word on Sky Sports today, they said, but do you remember when Andy Ruiz beat him and he was a fat guy? It's like, okay, it's already started. Yeah, we shall see. But so for the clarification of the book, Andy has gone for Team Punk to win and Logan Paul to quite literally take one for his team. Cool. Okie dokie. That is all the predictions. Everything is in the book. Has anybody got any other business for this episode? All good? Lovely stuff. Well, depending on where in the world you are listening to us, if it's time, enjoy your Thanksgiving. If it's not, it's near the weekend. We're nearly there, folks. Come on. We can do this. Enjoy the wrestling. Enjoy Survivor Series. Nuts to think it'll be 40 years old next year as well. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. If you haven't already, don't forget the old like, share and subscribe business. It might not take you more than a second to do, but it's super important to us, and we thank you very much for doing so. So yeah, take care everyone, and thanks to you guys for joining me, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
So there we go. What do you think's that? Another one done, another one gone. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for being here. If you want to be a bigger part of the podcast, why don't you send us your predictions for the matches? You can do that by jumping over to the website, clicking the email button. That's the cookiecast.com. Click that email button, drop your predictions in, send them to us. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave reviews where you can leave reviews, leave comments where you can leave comments. Share the podcast around with friends, family, loved ones, all of that good stuff. Right, that's it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to